Oh God. How am I going to follow Gustav Holst? Bad, bad, bad choice of music. Brilliant though. Mars, Bringer of War. I was just looking for some copyright-free music to serve as a 2-minute buffer to see if anyone could find the stream before I start talking. So yeah, the title of this stream, Pagan Thoughts on Multiculturalism. This is just, I don't know, the closest I could get with my current vocabulary of language. Pagan, that's just a general term, basically, in my mind at least, for those outside of the state religion. I mean, that's basically what it meant back in Roman times. How historically ignorant the phrase Roman times. There were like a million Roman times. But hey, a lot of what I do here is stream of consciousness. You guys know this. But I like to think that my stream of consciousness is of high fucking quality. So of course I'm going to broadcast it to you. How are you guys doing out there? Anyone in the chat room want to say hello or whatever? That's welcome. A little bit of interaction I will not turn down. I tried doing this before, in the past at the end of the stream, but I'll do it at the start of the stream. Look down in the description, check out evrn.net, and consider tuning into the anti-broadcast every Wednesday at 9 PM Irish Standard Time or summertime. I forget what IST means, but fuck it, 9 PM where Dublin is. Also consider joining our Discord server. You know, some cool people there already. We aren't always online, but one or two of us always are. Always up for a little bit of a laugh or share interesting things, and some gold does actually get passed back and forth there. And the end goal with this Discord server is to have a community of like minds, good people. We have a situation where the mainstream media is basically crumbling at the seams, and people think, oh hey, this is brilliant, we're escaping the mind control grid, but we really are not, folks. What's going on is that YouTube is now the new mainstream media, and Netflix is now the new mainstream media, and a lot of these media dinosaurs have actually survived and crawled into the internet and managed to establish themselves as as authorities once more via the internet. It wasn't always like this, folks. The internet used to be a place where people, although not the majority of people, a lot of people began to wake up. They began to reach out to each other and realize that the world is bigger and much more interesting than what the television and the radio and all the corporatized media were telling them, and what religion and government were telling them. You know, this was a place where we had a lot of skepticism for what we were told by the mainstream. We have just been socially engineered to accept it all over again. And this is what the whole Alex Jones censorship affair is about. If you care to go back into, not on this channel, but the anti-broadcast vault, I've uploaded my show where I explain basically the Alex Jones psyop, but to condense it for you, this guy has been speaking with impunity all this time, while hundreds of free thought channels and networks and individuals have just been shut down continuously. Alex Jones would always follow the dollar, follow the crowd, while these people, they followed their hearts, they followed their instincts, and over the years, being locked down and locked out. One such individual is Jeff C. His new channel is Jeff Censored. He seems to be getting away with a lot these days, but you know, I think they're just waiting again for the right time to push once more. We're all distracted by this InfoWars thing. He would always, Alex Jones would always cry about how he's being censored and how he has all these strikes on his YouTube channel, but as Jeff C. pointed out, you can't have 2 strikes on your YouTube channel and live stream, okay? You can't even have 1 strike on your channel and live stream, so the guy's full of shit. And now he gets mountains of free advertising. Don't you see what's going on here, folks? The alternative media is being defined for us, so that on one end we have the we have lies from the mainstream media, and then lies on the other hand from the so-called alternative media. Alex Jones has always been groomed and set up to fill this role, and now his kingship, his throne, is about to be firmly established in the clouds, so that whenever anyone thinks of alternative ideas, they think of the clown that is Alex Jones. So that's a really long way around for me to say that we need to build our own communities where we can, build our own little enclaves, and share our thoughts and theories and also research together, as well as have a social support network. You know, we need to, we're going through hard times, and things are going to get worse with the economy and continued false flags. So we need to stick together to give each other support, just to be there as human beings for each other. We always needed that, but we will need it in the future all the more. So consider Eclectic Vibrations Radio's Discord server down in the description. Now I'm going to get into my little rant. I spent some time with some family in a place here in Galway, Canvara. Beautiful place. It's, you know, a cultural beacon right beside the historic Burren. This beautiful, beautiful place. Either like it's a nature preserve, one of many in Ireland that is just internationally recognized as a place to be conserved and to be respected. Try building a house there. It's really fucking hard. You know, there's so many limitations on it, and thank God, because it's a beauty. Either, you know, it's just wild roaming fields and forestry, so jagged topography wise that you couldn't really go over there with any kind of farm machinery and cultivate it as you would a normal agricultural field. It's mainly populated by sheep and bovine. And then if you don't have that, if you don't have mountains, you have these desolate fields of flags of rock. Like something fucking crazy happened here thousands of years ago, and it probably happened in the space of a few hours. That's how these crazy geological events happen. So this place has a lot of fucking energy about it, and Kinvara specifically is a magnet for the alternative folks, for the hippies. And you know, where those people live, there's something to it. You know, whatever about their ideas about the world, whatever about their religion or their politics, they are special, sensitive people on some level. They recognize what's going on in these places. Now, I'm sure you guys have heard, if you follow Irish news at all, we, just like in Europe, are being basically planted with foreign peoples. There's this town, very historic town in Mayo, or no, is it? Yeah, it's County Mayo. It's called Liston Varna, popularized by a song by that name, by I forget who it's by. I don't think it's of any consequence. This person who wrote and sung this song. It's just an anthem, basically, but beautiful little place. It has about a population of 147 people. And in the summer, you know, it just gets like flooded with tourists from within Ireland and outside. And then it goes back to 147 people. A backroom deal had been made by the owner of a hotel, and don't worry, there's a reason why I'm telling you this, with the government, to basically have what they call a direct provision kind of setup. It's a system that we have in Ireland where basically we house and feed and clothe refugees, as well, people claiming to be refugees and waiting for their applications to be rejected or accepted. And on top of that, they give them like €60. The phony left here in Ireland are pissed off because, well, you know, it's inhumane, and I agree, it is fucking inhumane to be kept in those conditions for as long as about 2 years. But the other side of the argument is, well, why don't they fucking go home? Because something like 98% of those applications are rejected, yet they reapply, they appeal. So they know that if they just stick it out, then they will have it easy. And they will all have it easy, collectively easy, soon, because direct provision will be gotten rid of, and they will place these people on full benefits, full social benefits, and be able to work and do whatever the hell they like with, I guess, the hotel or the direct provision building as some kind of launching pad. I don't know the precise details, but Liston Varna is about to double in population, with that new second half being from Africa and the Middle East. Very few Syrians, if you want to know. And those people are just going to be let loose in Liston Varna. Not to, talk down about these people, but come on, man, they are different from us. This is plantation. This is what they are doing slowly to the country. You should look up the issue with Liston Varna, if you can find anything on it, because the mainstream media won't tell you the fucking truth about it. So, if that is not happening, then you find bits and pieces of people here and there moving into both urban, rural and countryside areas. And I was taking a nice walk down, semi kind of private road that leads to the beach. And on our way back, the dog was with us, and, dogs do as they do when they pass houses. Well, there are the dogs in them that kind of play a game, and the little dog in this particular house goes, "Wah!" And, we thought that was cute. The owner of the house had just driven in, and my relative her first instinct was to say hello to the person getting out of the car. That person completely fucking blanked her, and that person was African. And there's substance to what I'm saying. If your first reaction to this is, oh, you're racist, then you're not very good at listening, because you need to listen to me a little longer to get where I'm coming from here. I have no animosity against people of any shape, size, color, whatever. I think that life is hard enough without hate and trying to control other people, and it doesn't go anywhere nice when you just come on too strong, unprovoked. So what my problem was that, hey, this is a fracture, this is a black spot in our culture here, because unless the person's a particular fucking cunt, they would say, oh, hello, or at least acknowledge that you're there, because this is a small town, this is what we do. And we drive past each other on a narrow road, we kind of raise the fingers on the steering wheel, let's like hail, hail citizen. This isn't happening anymore. By the way, the owner of this, the tenant in this house, came flying down the road, and there was a few yards there between her front bumper and the dog, but she, and we thought, oh, she's gonna continue driving in our direction. That's why she was going so fast. But no, she was about to turn about another 5 foot from where she went. So what was she going to do? Fucking drift into her driveway? I don't understand this. And I'm not saying, again, I'm not racist, bro. This is, it can be the behavior of any human being to be a fucking cunt. It's just within us. All I'm saying is that this is different. That there is a lack of camaraderie, a lack of vibration. And this is what I'm getting at here. This is vibration. What really happened was my mother... Whoa, there I go, slipped. Yeah, I was taking a walk with my mother. And my mother is the one that said, hail, citizen, basically. And that was a vibration she was sending out to that person. And it's not because this person was African or black or anything. It's just that she was different, from a different culture. She did not pick up on that vibration. She was not integrated. This is what they talk about, integration, to come to a similar wavelength to the people that you live with. And it's not just voice, words, vibration. It also translates into how you behave and how you think. Words, they dictate how we think. The words we have, the grammatical structures that we have such a bearing on the way we think and our attitude to the world. I mean, just, look at the Germans. They have so many beautiful words and so many ways of putting them together. Yeah, they don't sound nice to us, but there is such a finesse in the way that they relate, just like the Spanish, just like the Italians. And it imbues a certain attitude in a person, and it also comes out of the environment that they came from, which, when it comes to the Spanish, it's a warm environment. It comes to the Portuguese, it's a warm environment. They're slow movers. They're more sensual. So I thought, as I walked, I can riff on this when I get home on a live stream, you know. And I think I made my case, you know. You guys in the chat, you can let me know, did I make my case properly? And, you know, I had a little time on my own, had a cup of coffee and a cigarette outside of this beautiful home. And I thought, hey, and I'll whip out the EVP app on my mobile phone. And EVP stands for Electronic Voice Phenomena. It works off of amplifying atmospheric radiation to allow spirits in the locality to form words out of that EMF noise. And okay, I'm a spiritist. I absolutely believe in it. I know of it. Something is beyond our visible range, and they like to talk if we give them the opportunity to do so. I was surprised. This is the first time I opened up this EVP app in this place. And unlike my own home, man, every time I opened that app, there was some kind of a connection coming through. Some kind of a voice coming through. This one particular voice said these 3 words in succession with about a minute or 2 minutes between each. First word, diversity. Second word, vibration. Third word, danger. And through listening in further to the words that were being communicated by this spirit or whatever it is, that I gather it was some kind of a poet or a politician or someone who is skilled in the matters of vibration, cultural vibration. And I took that to mean that the spirit actually kind of agreed with my interpretation of our missed connection with the African lady. I was actually quite astounded by it. We live in a sea of vibration. I know the New Agers, they like to talk about this, but I don't think most of them actually really understand it as much as they would like you to think, or as much as they would like to think themselves. It's, it's still true though, what they say, everything's vibration. And everything starts with the speech, the word. And this has been the way humans operated from the beginning of humans. We spoke to each other, we told each other stories, we sang songs, and we played instruments for each other. And apart from like architecture and clothing and the visual arts, vibration is all our culture. It's everything, and it defines us. Our music defines us. You know, here in Ireland we have a kind of a retardation, a cultural retardation, where, you know, we can put our finger up to our own culture, and I think it's out of hurt. You know, we just ignore it. We want to walk away from it. We want to abandon it. But you know what? Get an Irishman drunk, and, you know, just expose him to the usual American or British or nowadays even mainland European music, and, you know, it's just further into illusion and wastery, they go crazy. But if, like say, after the 10th pint or the equivalent, if you put on an Irish anthem, even something like quasi-modern, like the Fields of Athenry or something like that, or as I alluded to before, listen, 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 Varna, or even some Cayley music, then you see the Irishness come out, and they might get angry, and they might cry, or they might just cheer and say, yeah, I'm fucking Irish, even though like for like 99% of their lives they're not, like it's somewhere really deep down there. This shows how vibration is our culture. Like the conscious mind, right? It can do many great things, but it often gets in the way. And you play someone some music from their culture after being thoroughly Americanized and globalized, and they're like, well, yeah, that's part of my culture. Yeah, okay, I pass a comment on it. Well, I don't really like it. Blah blah blah. They might just think, well, it's old hat and should be abandoned. Blah blah blah. But put them under the influence of alcohol or some kind of other drug that's disassociative, break down those walls of intellectualism, and then play them some traditional music, and they then they are children of their culture. So it's really hard to see how multiculturalism can break us apart when we're not really trained to think of things on this level. We're not really capable of putting these pieces together because we have been thoroughly brainwashed by the Enlightenment, by Americanism, by Britishism, the Anglosphere. And to think that the world is purely Newtonian, blocks of things banging up against each other, and God is dead, and the only thing to replace him is science. That kind of codswabble. I really fucked that up, didn't I? We're almost. It's almost like we're locked out of a way of thinking, and you have to consciously pry that open. You have to train yourself to be able to think in these terms. When people go down the crazy route, they like take some wild fucking psychedelic or something, and suddenly those doors of perception are just kicked open, and the unconscious plane just floods into their consciousness, and it blows their fucking minds. And if people are fragile enough, they end up in a fucking psych ward for the rest of their lives, that kind of thing. Some people kind of get a sense that there is something to all of this, and they kind of just turn into fucking hippies. Most people just say, oh, that's cool, and then they just carry on with their lives, hopefully a little bit more wiser. But they always said to me, that's those things, those drugs, they're the shortcut. And they absolutely are, because there's no way of integrating that massive flood from the unconscious. But there definitely is something in there. Look up on YouTube Carl Jung warning on psychedelics. There's a pretty good podcast that give a reading of that and some interpretation. I think it's a voice club, I think they call that channel. It's a pretty good channel. Yeah, we need to work on thinking in these ways, because it has huge implications. We're not going to win this war by playing on their chessboard, which is, like I said, the Newtonian Enlightenment idea of the world, which is just blocks of matter smacking off against each other, and there's nothing outside of the causal chain of reality. We can bring amazing things into reality just by our pure will of our soul. People have caught on to this throughout the centuries, even after the suppression of indigenous pagan ways that understood this. Different schools of magic. Chaos magic came real close to it. The law of attraction people in the New Age, they're pretty close to it these days. If you dig underneath the surface, they have some pretty good teachings where you can absolutely bring things in from outside of Newtonian reality. And we need to do that on the massive scale. We can't play on their chessboard. We have to kick the chessboard over and reinstitute these ideas as institutions in our cultures. When I got home, thinking that I'm going to make this stream, another third little thing popped up for me, as synchronicity, man. It's all connected, man. But it really is. Because my good friend Patrick, and a friend of the station, he would call into the anti-broadcast almost every week. He sent me a Skype message saying he, came to the realization that certain people in our society, particularly Irish society, express traits of the ancient Irish caste of storytellers, the bards. He reckons that I'm one of those people, and I think I am. He suggests that we need to bring that back. We need to reinstitute that, to embolden our people, to revitalize our people and our culture. I thought it was very interesting that he would send me that message today after my experiences. Something is coming through from another reality, folks, and it always is. It's knocking at our door. We just gotta pay attention. And I beg you guys to join me in this. I'm not saying, join my clan or become my disciple. No, explore this on your own, because reality is your teacher. There's a lot of information out there. The internet is reasonably liberal nowadays, even still. There are a lot of people out there who are noticing these things in their own way, through their own lenses. They noticed that to pick up on synchronicities makes it more likely for synchronicity to happen in your life. To record your dreams makes your dreams more vivid and more detailed and more psychological, as well as precognitive. People have noticed, and they talk about how recording your dreams gives the sensation while you're in waking reality that the two planes are merging. Our ancestors have always talked about this. The dream time the dreaming, as they call it in Australia. In Ireland, we called it there's a few names actually for it. The other world, Ah, Jesus. I didn't expect... I didn't expect Skype sound to come through on the stream. Sorry. I'll fucking mute it as well so I don't have to hear it. We have these realms, all of us, all around the world. We have these realms where the fairies live, where the things underneath the ground, the mystery, the things that live in the forest, particularly at night, mystery, the unknown, the unseen. And we have told stories through all out our history of how that mystery just bleeds into reality every now and then. We are the bridges between that reality and this reality. We are the dream weavers, the makers of reality. So I'm just gonna I'm gonna bring this all home and end this stream. And if you're only just tuning in now, how did I get from multiculturalism to talking about this hippie nonsense? Well, when the stream ends, subscribe and to touch that bell, because you're going to be able to listen to this from the beginning. It's worth it, believe me. We need to be the conscious channels between the other world and the waking world, because when we see shit going down in the world, when we see Europe being invaded, when we see corruption within our own lands, when we see pedophiles everywhere and in the highest offices of power, it's so fucking depressing. It's a mountain of black pills out there, folks. The world is going to end. Everything is going to be a fucking disaster if we live in the Newtonian world where it's just atoms bouncing off of each other and we are slaves to causation. We've got to dream a new reality. So we need to be conscious dreamers. And this has real world application. I can't tell you how to apply it in the real world. I just do it. I bring, not to say I'm anything special, you can do this too, anyone can do this. I bring from the other world into this one. And by my voice, I change this world. And I can't do it alone. Nobody can do it alone. Nobody can do anything alone. It has to be us as a people together. We need to turn this shit around with magic, basically. And I'm going to segue into fucking Kevin Sharkey for president. Ooh, how can I connect Kevin Sharkey to this? Well, let's see. I shared a thing on Facebook, a little picture of basically saying Kevin Sharkey for president. As I routinely do it because I would like him to be president of Ireland. I think he would fit. There's another hopeful candidate, someone O'Doherty. She's against corruption, basically. I like her. I might even vote for her. It depends. Depends who gets nominated. Depends on the day when I go to the booth. But Kevin Sharkey, I shared this thing. Someone on the kind of alt-right side of things said, hey, he admits that between 2008 and 2010 that he was a prostitute just to get by. And I said, yeah, I know everything that there is to be known about this guy. An American fella, or Canadian, I don't know, good friend, good guy, came along and said, hey, do you really want that for your president? Someone like an artist. I understand the artist dream, but at least get a fucking job, while you're promoting your dream. You know, do you really want a president to be someone who got to the point of having to suck dick just to get by because he made bad decisions? From a Newtonian standpoint, that makes perfect fucking sense. You know, that's a very admirable way of looking at the world, and accurate in some senses, in a lot of senses. You know, you gotta like be realistic, but people are flawed, man. They make bad decisions. And it's a tough world to live in. Really, it really is. And to expect anyone to be perfect is, well, you're fucking gobshite. Like, you're not being totally honest about yourself. Like, how many bad decisions do you make, and how much of a factor is luck and just determination after the fact, in you not being in the gutter right now, So Sharky knows what it's like to suck dick just to get by. That's that's the whole experience of this country. Sucking dick to get by. So, a people deserves the government it gets, and I think it deserves Kevin Sharkey. On the, this is something our friend Patrick brought up about the whole situation. But my original reply to this guy was like, look, dude, we're in the shitter, man. Politically, economically, socially, we're fucked, man. We are absolutely fucked, and there's no one else out there with any kind of an idea of how to fix it, because you can't fix it. It's unfixable. What we need is a dream, and the Irish have always been known to be dreamers. Okay? Yeah, fighters as well. That's one side of it. Endless guerrilla warfare. Who wants to fucking mess with that? The Vikings didn't have a very good run of it. The Romans didn't have a good run of it either. Neither with Scotland. These are countries of the bards, the storytellers, the saints and scholars. We were also respected for our vision and our academia, our piety, And we need another dream if we're going to get by, because a dream is all that we're going to manage to pull together. That's all we can afford right now. And from all that I've been talking this past 45 minutes, I tell you that the dream can pull us through. Okay? We can do it. So, I'll just leave you guys off. And again, check us out, evrn.net, down in the description. Tune in tomorrow. I'm on air tomorrow, 9 p.m. Irish Standard Time, Dublin time. Consider joining our Discord server. I already gave the shtick on that at the beginning of this video, so I'm not going to try again. Just, we're good people. Come, join us. Have a good time.